I think you guys are a bunch of cons is what I think. I'm not going to give you any information at all.
How could I fall for that? I'm too smart for that.
I panicked and went from one scam to another.
I've sent them all my Social Security papers and documents.
I just want people aware to watch your backs.
This is KOAA News 5 Special Edition.
Shame, anger, loneliness, panic. Those are the emotions scammers count on, and the voices you just heard belong to people right here in southern Colorado. I'm Kiera Sam, a consumer reporter with KOAA News 5. Over the past year, I've told stories about criminals who used trust as a weapon, impersonating loved ones, financial institutions, even government agencies, stealing thousands of dollars and in some cases, life savings. In this special report, the Fraud Files, we're sharing the stories of victims, not to embarrass or judge, but to show how these scams work and what you need to know to protect yourself and your family. We start in Pueblo, where a woman pretending to be a landscaper went to a Pueblo family's home requesting to spruce up their yard. The family tells me they were surprised the woman showed up in person because most of the fraud they hear about happens online. But this story involves an imposter, going old school, showing up at their doorstep with a smile, a clipboard, and a plan to rip them off.
The whole time I'm sitting inside, I'm just shaking.
Tamara Stokes says she was scared for her life when a woman knocked on the door of her Pueblo home, which she shares with her daughter and grandson.
Grandson answered the door, and they said they're from a landscaping company, and they didn't say which landscaping company.
Her daughter, Kim, realized something was off when the woman said she was sent by their landlord to take pictures of the house.
It's a little weird because it was on a Sunday night at 7:40 at night. It was on Memorial Day weekend. It just didn't seem to add up.
Concerned, she called her landlord for confirmation.
And the second we told them, well, you're not coming in the backyard, we have no notification if you're supposed to be here, and the property management said not to let you in the backyard, they left that quick. They were here less than 5 minutes.
Neighbors told the family they had something similar happen to them. The family filed a police report.
Scammers can actually gain a lot of information by just driving around a neighborhood.
And my yard, unfortunately, is one of the unkempt ones around, which is probably why they picked this house, because it's the one that actually looks like it needs the landscaping versus the ones that actually have grass.
According to international crime expert Dr. Fraud, this is an example of how someone might try to take advantage of you while hiding behind the facade of landscaping.
You're seeing different variations of the old school kind of casing the joint, if you will. A lot of individuals are taking pictures, but really what they're doing is they can blow up what's behind them, and they're looking at whatever's in their yard, whatever's in their house, what windows are open or closed.
He advises if you're ever approached, don't pay any money up front, sign a contract, check customer reviews, and if they say they're sent by someone you know, contact that person to make sure they're telling the truth.
I'm not answering the door. If something like that happens again, I'm calling the cops.
The family wants to make sure no one else feels unsafe or gets taken advantage of.
There's a lot of disabled people that live by themselves. There's a lot of single ladies who live by themselves with kids. Because you never know, you go to the door, pop, you're going to get shot. Who knows? Nobody knows. I just want people aware to watch your backs.
Fake offers for homeowners aren't just happening in Pueblo. It's a problem we've seen across the state. A man living in Simla, which is northeast of Colorado Springs, says he narrowly avoided falling victim to a fraudulent home loan scheme. The only reason he spoke out was to prevent others from experiencing the same headache.
My dad told me when I was a teenager, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
What started as an online search for a loan to buy a new car became something far more concerning for homeowner Jerry Owen.
My original plan was to borrow $10,000 against the house.
Jerry was surprised when what he thought was a loan company contacted him instead of the other way around. But he went along with the process anyway.
I've sent him all my Social Security papers and documents, and I've sent him bank statements.
Then the company sent Jerry more than 100 electronic documents to sign.
I didn't even read them. I didn't even see them because he said it was not that important.
The loan company told Jerry his home was worth $180,000 if he refinanced. But Jerry tells me his bank valued it closer to $30,000.
I walked into the bank instead of the drive up, and I was telling one of the tellers about what was going on, and the president of the bank came out of her office in the corner, and she told me, she said, it's a scam.
After that, Jerry stopped all contact with the loan company.
It's still making me very nervous.
He says he's still concerned about possible misuse of his personal information and how easily he misunderstood what was happening.
I guess there's a lot of people in this country, in this world, that has no conscience. I couldn't do that to somebody that, you know, worked their whole life to get their house and everything. It just really upsets me.
Reporting any suspicious financial activity like Jerry did protects you and helps others avoid similar experiences. Because according to the FBI, if you've fallen victim to a scam once, you're likely to be scammed again. For example, after talking with Jerry about that fake home loan offer, he began telling me about what he believed was a romance scam that he had gotten involved with.
One girl I even sent $500 to 3 times and nothing, you know. Every time I'd send them, then they'd all of a sudden have car trouble or they needed gas.
The FBI says these are common signs of a romance scam: sending money to someone you've only met online, paying strangers through gift cards, or sending money because of a sudden emergency. The FBI says cut off contact immediately with a person if you suspect a romance scam. You should also report it online to the ic3.gov website. Romance scams and investment scams rank top 10 for the number of complaints to the FBI. Another Colorado man I spoke with says he was a victim of both at the same time. He tells me he didn't see the deception until it was too late.
At this point, I believe I've published between 24 and 26 books, generally some form of fantasy.
Meet Josh Kern, a Colorado-based author with a passion for storytelling.
They were kind of an escape growing up. My parents were fairly poor, so reading about just any kind of fantasy or other style of book just was my escape growing up, so it was something I always wanted to do.
While focused on writing his latest book, he ventured into the world of online dating.
We were talking on the dating app. We got along. We decided to move to the next step, which was off the dating app, which is kind of normal. Right away, we had a video call. So that kind of, in my mind, ruled her out as a scammer, because generally scammers, they don't show pictures, they don't do video calls. And this continued until she told me about this investment thing she had going on, which was fairly normal because we were talking about different ways we made money.
So he started investing in the suggested cryptocurrency website, first with $5,000.
I was like, okay, this is working. Let me add a little bit more. Nothing major. I think I went in for another like 1,000 or 2. And over the next few weeks, we increased the amount to 10,000, 12,000, something like that. But, you know, she kept pushing for more, and it really started to bother me. But we increased the amount again. At that point, I think it was 20-something. And I had relationship blinders on, you know. I was infatuated. She was a very good-looking girl, and I was seeing a major return on my investment.
After he had put in more than $100,000, he found out his account was frozen.
When I mentioned what was going on, she kind of ghosted me. That was more or less the last I heard of her.
After believing he had been scammed,
it was everything I had. I mean, at that point, I had maybe $500 in my account.
He reached out to a scam recovery team to try to get his money back. The site said he would have to pay for their services as well, so Josh borrowed about $50,000 from his family members to pay them. But the website took his money too.
That website was completely fake, a scam, everything. And I panicked and went from one scam to another. Just made the hole even bigger.
He filed reports with the FBI, Colorado Attorney General's Office, the FTC, and other consumer protection agencies.
When you made these reports, what was their response?
Haven't gotten any.
From all 8 reports?
Yeah, it was a lot of money. That was my entire life savings, between 150 to 160. After it was all done, I still questioned for weeks afterwards whether or not she was actually involved. I mean, that's how good of a hook she was. Definitely have a limit on what you're willing to do.
And Josh isn't alone in this situation. Online dating can be risky for everyone. And now artificial intelligence is making it even harder to know who you're really talking to. After filing an official report with the FBI and other consumer protection agencies, Josh says law enforcement officers told him that the person he saw on the other side of those video calls wasn't the woman he thought he was talking to.
People think they don't show their face, they don't do video calls or photos, and each one of those things she did. And they can do that now because of Gen AI.
I spoke with FBI Special Agent Eric Burns, who investigates romance scams and other forms of fraud. He tells me people are using AI to look like a different person on a live video call.
Criminals know it just as well as we do that they need to make their they need to make it better and more believable. So they'll offer to do video chats, or they'll offer to talk by phone, and they'll use AI to disguise their voice or their appearance to make it look like they're somebody they're not.
He says criminals are using AI-powered apps so they can pretend to look like someone completely different online. And it's not that hard to get this technology. Burns tells me the software to create these realistic filters can be found on the dark web or even just downloaded onto a phone or computer. So the best way to protect yourself, the FBI says meeting the person face-to-face is still your safest bet. But even then, stay cautious, especially if that person brings up money.
Hello? Hello?
I was with Robert Graham when he got that phone call from an imposter. We've gotten multiple messages from our viewers about getting constant calls from Medicare imposters amid the open enrollment period. I got answers about how you can avoid becoming a victim of Medicare fraud.
I think you guys are a bunch of cons is what I think. I'm not going to give you any information at all. Please
That's
do not call
Robert's
me
response to one of the many phone calls he gets per week.
She says, my name is Wendy and I would like to discuss the changes in Medicaid and Medicare.
He says he has not called any Medicare offices and doesn't understand why he's getting so many calls about it.
They've been averaging 5 or 6 calls a day every day now.
On a daily basis, we get the call from our beneficiaries saying that, hey, I got scammed.
The Colorado Senior Medicare Patrol says a Medicare representative will never call you unless you call them first. The patrol group says these are the 3 red flags to look out for to avoid Medicare fraud. Someone calling you saying, I'm from Medicare, or saying, let me verify your information. Another red flag, if the person doesn't say the name of the company they're with.
If you don't have any prior business with them, it's okay to hang up on them.
I have called numbers back and the person will say, well, I didn't make that phone call. I haven't called you. You know, so I know they're spoofing people's numbers.
Robert only has a landline, so he plans to continue answering the phone because he's usually expecting a call from a family member.
I'd just like to see somebody do something about it. Scammers
don't just target bank accounts, they're going after food assistance too. A Colorado Springs mother explains how her SNAP benefits were stolen, what families receiving food assistance should watch out for right after this break. Welcome back to the Fraud Files. More than 600,000 people receive SNAP benefits, and one of those is a Colorado Springs mother. Nicole Mobley was devastated after her SNAP benefits were stolen earlier this year, leaving her with 68 cents in her EBT account. She showed me her fridge and pantry filled with expired food as she wondered how she would put food on the table for her children. Like many others, she never imagined this would happen to her.
January 5th, I went into a gas station to get a bottle of water for $2 and got declined. Thought it was a mistake, went to a second gas station, got declined again. Come to find out that it's because my food stamps were stolen. We've got expired coffee, pickles.
Do you know what's for dinner tonight?
No. When we have our SNAP benefits, everything's full. Unfortunately, now we're kind of down to the wire of scrounging up what we can. Which is like canned goods and just random things, mostly ramen. I never in a million years thought that they could steal your stamps or that somebody would. I mean, you already know people are struggling because they're getting it to begin with, but then you're going to take it from them. And for what? I have 5 kids and a granddaughter. I'm going to get emotional, so I'm trying not to. Something like this means I can't feed them for a whole month. As a mom, you never want to go without feeding your kids. And feeding them a meal, not feeding them out of a can or a box. The only time we really get as a family is when we sit down to eat. When everybody gets together, you meet at the end of the day, you talk about how your day went, what happened, plans for what's coming up. It's the one time that you get to sit down and actually be a family. Usually it's the kids that cook. I don't really cook a whole lot. My kids are usually pretty good. They take turns. So having to explain it to them, they're like, well, what do we do now? And a couple of them cried because they know what it's like to not have food, because we've had a small moment of that before. And now DHS doesn't want to help. So that means I can't feed them properly for another month. And I've reached out to several supervisors. I've reached out to, one supervisor told me to go onto a Facebook page, something like 719 Moms, and beg for food. Another one, the lady wasn't even friendly. She just immediately said, there's nothing we can do. I immediately started breaking down crying and asking her what I'm supposed to do. And her response was, we can't help you, have a good day. I do all of the things they tell you to do. They tell you to check your account every day. They tell you to change your password regularly. They tell you, to check for skimmers. I've done all of that. It didn't make a difference. It's hard because I've always had a good work ethic. I've always worked 2 to 3 jobs to support my kids, but I've never been a single mom. That's new. My kids are super supportive. They do remind me everything will be okay. We just have a month. We'll figure it out. We'll make it work. But then there's the moments of one of them is hungry and is like, Mom, why can't we have a pizza tonight? Or, hey, can I run to the grocery store and grab this? And I'm like, remember, we can't do that right now. And I think it kind of knocks them down a little bit too, but they're good at keeping smiles on their face and trying to keep Mom going. So when they see me emotionally break down, they're like, we'll figure it out. We'll make this work. If we have to eat beans for the rest of the month, we'll eat beans for the rest of the month.
If your SNAP benefits are stolen, you should call the EBT customer service number, but there are steps EBT users can take to protect their benefits, according to the Colorado Department of Human Services website. Changing your PIN often, avoiding simple PINs, keeping your PIN and card number secret, and reporting suspicious activity immediately. Plus, freezing your card on the EBT Edge mobile app or cardholder portal. This stops new purchases. Welcome back to the Fraud Files. So far, I've talked about fake offers to homeowners, romance scams, robocalls, and stolen SNAP benefits. But what would you do with $37,000? Our final story tonight involves a Colorado Springs woman who hoped to grow the money that her father left behind. But instead, she says she became the victim of a financial crime, tricked into investing into a fake cryptocurrency scheme.
We had plenty of money growing up. There wasn't a shortage of money, but I was always brought up believing that we didn't have enough money. That's probably definitely factored into the equation of getting scammed.
Suzanne Pence was looking forward to surprising her family with a return on her recently inherited $37,000.
My husband has always been the breadwinner of the house. And so after inheriting some money from my dad, I thought that this was an opportunity, the perfect opportunity for me to actually contribute.
She saw one of her close friends on Facebook post an investment opportunity that looked legitimate.
I sent her a message and said, hey, I want to learn a little more about this. Is this something that you would be willing to teach me?
But the friend wasn't behind the post. Her account had been hacked, and Suzanne was unknowingly entering a phony, multi-layered crypto investment scheme.
I was like, no, you're wrong, you're wrong. This is a really good person. She would never scam me.
Here's how it played out. She opened a Bitcoin wallet, fed cash into a crypto ATM, sent proof of her receipt, then watched her investment grow on a website that looked real but wasn't. When she tried to cash out, no response.
Doing this sort of the complex, multi-layered approach to these scams is very similar to the impersonation scam in that it helps legitimize the scam itself.
The FBI says investment fraud is the #1 reported scam in Colorado.
I was in a vulnerable place, I will say that. My dad, prior to passing away, had went 30 years without talking to me. And I see his caller ID on my cell phone, and I'm like, hello? And he's like, Suzanne? And I said, yes. And I said, how are you? And he said, well, I'm not doing so good.
In just 8 days, Suzanne handed over her entire $37,000 inheritance. The promise, a return of nearly $200,000. The reality, nothing.
These bad actors will prey on those opportunities to, victimize somebody. Number one, they've just come into money, and number two, they're grieving, right? So they're not in a great state of mind to make really sound decisions.
Suzanne says the only peace she has is knowing she reconnected with her father before he died. Now she's using her pain to warn others.
Don't blame yourself. It's those people that scam, they're good. They're really, really good at what they do. And it's not your fault.
Suzanne tells me she never reported the scam, but the FBI says it's a crucial step. Agents say the sooner you file a report, the better chances of catching the criminals and recovering your money. Every scam you've seen tonight started the same way, with trust, a phone call, a message, a promise. Investigators say the best defense is slowing down, asking questions, and reporting anything that doesn't feel right. Because when scams go unreported, the criminals move on to the next victim. And as we've shown you tonight, that victim could be anyone. Thanks for watching the Fraud Files. I'm Kiera Sam for News 5.